Academy Sports and Outdoors presents Royals Baseball. Tonight from Kauffman Stadium, it's Game 3 of this 4-game series between the Tampa Bay Rays and the Kansas City Royals. Hi, everybody. Steve Physioc, Rex Hudler with you. We are officially at the midway point of the 2015 season, and the Royals on pace to win 96 games. And the first half was absolutely magical. I mean, we saw highlights of the All-Star Alex Gordon, what he's done this year. But 6 guys going to the All-Star game, perhaps a 7th. It has been a magical first half.
It has, because these guys are coming off of that mountaintop from last season where they won, and they know what it takes. And it's exciting to see the new additions to this team this year, how they've all fit in with the core players. The defense is spectacular. The bullpen is deeper and stronger. And also that offense, they're there, 1 through 9, frenzy-style hitting. Been a lot of fun to see what they've been able to accomplish.
And as we take a look at our Academy Sports and Outdoor comparison from last year to this, the team obviously has won more games. They are 4 games up rather than 3.5 games back, hitting more home runs and pitching better.
Yes, and you know what? It's contagious. And it's the energy that's brought by Salvi and Escobar, all these guys that love to play the game. They're able to fit in with the newcomers. The newcomers are going, wow, we love this. Morales has been spectacular, but they're going to have their work cut out for him today against Archer.
Chris Archer will throw. He is headed to the All-Star game. Guthrie will go for Kansas City.
To 89269, do it over and over and over again and represent Kansas City. Brian Dozier is right on his tail in second place, and then Yoenis Cespedes. So Kansas City got a chance to get it done again. Joel Goldberg alongside of Royals Hall of Famer Jeff Montgomery. Chris Archer is going into the All-Star game. Monty, one of 6 pitchers in history to start the year on the road. 6 games, 6 wins in company of guys like Maddox And Pedro, why is he so good?
Well, there's a good reason for those numbers, Joel. He's got a tremendous slider, a guy that has the ability to throw a fastball in the mid to upper 90s, but that slider really is a signature pitch for him. And he's a guy that's able to throw the pitch for any count, any hitter, any situation. He'll throw at the right-handers and put them away. He's very comfortable throwing at the left-handed batters. He's just a guy that has great command. So don't just look for him to use that for a strikeout pitch. He'll use that pitch to get ahead a lot of times as well.
He finally, in his 7th road start, did not win. It was a no decision, but it was still the 5th time this year that he has gone 6 or more innings and did not allow a run. So Archer expected to be very good tonight, but Jeremy Guthrie also pitching well of late. Fizz and Hunt have the call of the game next.
The U-verse revolves around you. Call 1-800-PIC-ATT. By your local Kansas City Chevy dealers. Come visit for great prices on all new 2015 Chevy vehicles. And by Missouri Lottery. Every ticket you play gives back to schools across Missouri. So play it forward with the Missouri Lottery. After yesterday's split doubleheader sweep, the Royals are 26-15 at home this year and hosting Kevin Cash's Tampa Bay Rays. They're still in it in the American League East, which is very competitive. Not that strong, though, this year. The Rays right now 2.5 games back at 500, 43-43, but they've lost 9 of their last 10. Cash's lineup, Jaso will lead things off. Then Cabrera, Longoria, and Loney. Longoria and Loney have been the 2 marks in that lineup that you have to stay away from.
Yeah, but you know what, Guthrie, he's been doing a great job of pitching to contact this season. I mean, he's not afraid of anybody. When he locates, he believes in it and can trust his fastball, and it's been impressive. We've seen some 94s and 95s out of this 36-year-old performer. Excellent job with his good, hard curveball. He'll throw a changeup, and he'll also mix in a cutter.
He's a veteran from Roseburg, Oregon.
Keeping that ball in the yard is a big key for Guthrie. He's given up 10 home runs to left-handed bats and just 2 to right-handers.
And that's why Cash has loaded his lineup with lefties in there, including the guy who will lead things off, John Jaso. We told you his story. Injured in the first game of the season, missed 84 games and came out and then belted a home run. He is 3 for 4 and did all that damage in the doubleheader yesterday. KC won 9-5 on Paulo Orlando's dramatic grand slam home run in game 1. and then blew out the Rays 7-1 in the nightcap. Guthrie dots the outside corner. 1 ball and 1 strike. Jeremy coming off of a no decision in Kansas City's 3-2 win over Minnesota last Friday. That was the first walk-off of the year when Kane scored on Gerard Dyson's grounder, and Guthrie received no decision even though he pitched very well.
And then all of a sudden, here they came, the rest of the walk-offs. I mean, you know, everything in baseball is contagious. And unfortunately for the Rays, they've been walked off more than any other team on the road,
including 4 straight road walk-off losses. And the last in game 1 of the doubleheader yesterday. Jaso fouls off that pitch, and looks like he's a little chapped that he should have handled that pitch better. As Hud told you, lefties batting .332 off of Guthrie. Little tight, and that is ball 4. The Rays much more patient than Kansas City.
Royals defense brought to you by Ford. Lorenzo Cain, your all-star, is back in there. Nice to see it. He's had a little tight hamstring, but he's back in there. Hopefully we won't see any reoccurrence. This guy's extremely important to the defense and to pitchers. He runs down all of those balls that have a lot of air underneath them. Really helps that pitching staff.
Now Asdrubal Cabrera only batting .222, 0 for 5 in the doubleheader yesterday, and he swings at the first pitch, misses, strike 1. And at one time he was going to be one of the best young shortstops, but really has struggled the last few seasons with Cleveland, then Washington, and now with the Rays.
It just hasn't been as consistent as some of those teams wanted. Plays second base for the Nationals, back playing shorts for the Rays.
He's a switch hitter batting from the left side. 5 home runs, 22 RBIs. Guthrie misses away, and Jeremy's not a guy who can afford to pitch behind in the count. He doesn't have the stuff he used to have in the mid-90s. Occasionally he'll touch 94, 95, but he needs to pitch ahead.
Yep, and he wants to do that with his 2-seamer. So far early in 9 pitches, we've seen him use a lot of secondary pitches, and his fastball is really his bread and butter, like most pitchers. There it is there. 92, plenty of good velocity to get the job done if you stay out of the middle of the plate. Ball had some nice running action away from Cabrera, who is a lifetime .329 hitter against the Royals.
Cabrera swings and misses at another good fastball from Jeremy Guthrie, this time at 94 miles an hour.
Plenty enough. That's a 4-seamer. All those fingers across the seams like that makes that ball have a little bit of movement to it at times. Not quite like the 2-seamer, but there's his breakdown. You see his secondary pitches, changeup, cut, fastball, curveball, all about the same. He'll mix those all in, those 3, but he wants to establish number 1, and that's the fastball.
And strike 1 is really key to Jeremy Guthrie's success. He fell behind Jaso, walked him, fell behind Cabrera, came back to strike him out. There is strike 1. How dramatic is strike 1? Well, about 100 points in the batting average against. After an 0-1 count, opponents are batting .265 off the Royal right-hander. When he falls behind, throws ball 1, opponents hitting .356.
Interesting, all the numbers they have now.
Now he jumps ahead 0-2. Longoria 2 for 9 in this series. His home run yesterday off Chris Young tied the game, but the Royals obviously would recover and win it in glorious fashion. Another walk-off.
Guthrie likes to use that defense. He's induced 5 ground ball double plays this year.
Longoria, skies one in the air right side. Rios says he has it. He does for out number 2.
Guthrie's really been sharp over his last 5 home starts here at the K. 2-0 record with a 2.01 ERA. That's outstanding. And you know, all the starters for the most part love pitching here at the K because it's so big. I mean, it's great. You can pitch down the middle and you can have those hitters try to hit that ball towards the middle. 410 in straightaway center field, 387 in the gaps, 330 down the lines. Royals 26-15 at home.
And just visiting with Jeremy Guthrie in the past, and also veteran pitchers like Jason Vargas, they say with this Royal defense you can be so aggressive because you might not make your quality pitch. It's hit hard and someone out there will run it down and make a great play for you. We saw several yesterday. Alex Gordon was outstanding in left field. Alcides Escobar at short. And today we get back Lorenzo Cain in center field after he's missed the last couple of days. Swing and a miss by Loney.
Loney 1 for 8 in his career off of Guthrie. Looks like he's trying to pull that ball. Outside pitches, when you try to pull them, usually you pop them up or you miss. If you go the other way, you might get that base hit to the opposite field.
In there. So Guthrie getting right back in the count, working the left-hander away.
So far so good.
Good block by Salvador. No advance by Jaso. Now he will be going with 2 out and a full count.
And some of you fans might notice whenever the ball hits the ground before Salvi catches it and they always throw it out, it's because sometimes it'll cut the ball. It'll make a mark on the baseball. And when that happens, the pitcher knows how to hold it just right and he can make it do some unusual movements towards the plate. That's why they throw him out.
Jaso goes, Loney takes, and that is outside and low, ball 4. So 2 walks in the first inning by Guthrie, who only walked 1 in 7 1/3 innings against Minnesota last Friday. Dave Island really enjoying Jeremy Guthrie since he was acquired from the Colorado Rockies several years ago, and usually the Royals win when Jay Guts pitches.
Island has done a wonderful job since being here 2012 with all these guys, but Guthrie was one of his first products.
And those numbers are somewhat jaded by that Yankee start when he gave up 11 runs in an inning plus 8 in the first inning at Yankee Stadium.
Dave Island helped Guthrie with his hip and his turn that he's getting before when he separates his hands and heading towards the plate. More of a hip turn because he was opening up too soon and he wasn't hiding the ball. And Island really made that little adjustment that's helped Guthrie, the veteran.
With that hip turn, does that help you keep the ball down?
No, I think it helps more with his power towards the plate. It gives him more of a load like a hitter does when he loads, but also it's deception to the hitter, hides the ball better.
Logan Forsythe fouls it off.
And you know, we talk about that a lot, about deception and hiding the ball, and it's important because hitters, they look for the release point as soon as they can, and the pitcher that shows the baseball to the hitter more often and earlier has a better advantage.
Guthrie tried to tease him away. He's thrown 24 pitches already in this first inning.
Yep, way more than Guthrie wanted.
This is a patient Rays team. They've walked 52 more times than Kansas City. That will get out of play.
10 to 15 pitches is beautiful. Anything over that, you're either walking some guys or they're fouling pitches off, and we're seeing both here in this inning.
Rex, we saw that yesterday in game one or game two, I beg your pardon, with Edinson Volquez. He threw more than 100 pitches in 5 innings, and Eddie said he never could get comfortable. The rain, where there was the feel on the pitch, he just didn't feel comfortable with his landing foot, and consequently he was always behind in the count.
Guthrie averages 16.4 pitches per inning.
Another 3-2 count.
Looked like a good spot. Salvi does an excellent job of presenting the pitches to the umpire, but must have been up out of the zone. Runners will be moving.
And Forsythe just does foul it off. Well, he went right after him, challenged him with the fastball just above the belt. Jaso at second, Loney at first. The bases are now loaded. And after you've competed in a doubleheader, you really want your starter to go deep into the game, but Guthrie nearing the 30 pitch mark of the first inning alone.
Bases loaded. Lots of times that hitter is going to look for that first pitch. Maybe Guthrie can have a little bit of fortune here. Have DeJesus hit it at somebody.
The lefty batter David DeJesus, and he started his career with Kansas City, drafted by the Royals, and played with them from 2003 through 2010. Hit .289. He's always hit well at this ballpark, just a tick under 300. And he knocks that one to right field, but Rios is there, and Guthrie escapes.
Man, I'll tell you what. The Rays struggling, just 1 for 19 with runners in scoring position. 1 for 20 now.
.48-33. They now lead the Minnesota Twins by 4 games because the Twins won today 5-3 over Baltimore. Played well after leaving here, and with a split of Kansas City at 2 wins, 2 losses, and here's a look at the Royal lineup. Escobar, who has been solid, 4 for 8 yesterday in the doubleheader, and of course Alex Gordon can't play much better than the doubleheader yesterday. 7 for 9 and 6 RBIs.
Love to see that batting average still climbing up there, and you know, just doesn't climb as much now. Any at bats over 200, 225, you know, it doesn't go up and down as much, but still, when you have that type of production, it's going to move on up.
Now one of the best young pitchers in the game, Chris Archer. First pitch to Alcides Escobar, misses outside, ball 1. What a year it's already been for Chris.
Archer's comes out of a high 3/4 arm slot. Very confident young man, 3rd year in the show. 90 to 97, 2 and 4 seam downhill plane. He really comes right at the hitters. Explosive fastball, that slider there, that's his signature pitch, and it's a beauty. We heard Jeff Montgomery talking about this in the pregame show about his slider. That slider, look at 40% of the time, hitters only hitting 154 off of it. Man, we have the best seat in the house, and those guys standing in the box don't. He's tough.
He goes with the fastball, and it glances off Archer to Longoria. It will be an infield hit for Escobar. And right now the concern is for Chris Archer, Tampa Bay's best pitcher.
Escobar doing a nice job, as always, trying to get on base to start the game. Swings early in the count, goes up the middle, he'll pull him. But this one right here hit the pitcher. Archer looked like it hit him in the knee. I'm not really sure exactly where that hit him, but I can tell you it didn't feel good. Whenever that ball bounces in front or to the left or right, hits you pretty well.
It looked like it hit him just above the right knee and then clipped over to Longoria. So here comes Alex Gordon, hitting .428 on this homestand to raise his average to .280. Put on a tremendous show in the Royals doubleheader sweep yesterday.
Archer's very quick home, has an average pickoff move over there. He'll slide step and he's quick home, and you know, you'll have to pick a good pitch to go on, but he'll throw occasional changeups, not a lot of them, but he's mainly uses that fastball, and believe me, 2 4-seam fastball, he can manipulate that pitch and use it a couple of different ways. And slider.
He's 3rd in the American League in ERA at 2.18, tied for 2nd in strikeouts with 141. In there, 1 and 2, and he came after him with the high heat. He's also tied for 4th in wins with 9, 5th in innings pitched.
Alex 1 for 6 in his career off Archer.
Escobar was thinking about going, did not, as the slider misses low.
Archer's induced 5 ground ball double plays so far this season.
And you usually can count on 25 to 30 steals from Escobar. He only has 5 this year. A little roller to the first baseman Loney. He goes 2nd for 1, but there'll be no throw, and Gordon replaces Escobar at first base. Well, road warrior is almost an overused term, so why don't we go with road monster for Chris Archer. His ERA is absolutely ridiculous at 0.77. 6 wins, no losses, opponents batting under 180. That's crazy.
It is. Those are sick numbers, but I can tell you for this one for sure, in this game, he's trying to show off for Ned Yost. Believe it. Ned Yost, the skipper of the 2015 All-Star game, looking for a starter.
Well, he saw Dallas Keuchel deal on the Royals last week, 8 shutout innings. Here's Lorenzo Cain. Good to see him back in the lineup. He missed the last 2 days because of just a tweak in his hamstring. That's what they're calling it.
So he gets a welcome back slider. A tough one, I guarantee you. It'll be fun to see Cheslor Cuthbert, the rookie, see a big league slider. tonight. He's batting ninth.
Way outside, and Rivera had to backhand that one. And just in case Gorda was thinking of leaving, he gave him a look.
You know, talked about how he's auditioning for Ned. Really, what Ned said, tongue-in-cheek, look, I hope he only has to audition for 4 innings tonight.
Yeah, he said the same thing about Dallas Keuchel, and he doubled that.
Yeah, no.
Well, we're seeing some of the best. A little bit outside, 2-1. But Ned Yost's team has beaten several of the best this year. Felix Hernandez, Corey Kluber, Chris Sale. Find a way to win. Kane takes it tight, and it's a 3-1 count.
Slider backed him off.
Lorenzo heating up, last 10 games, batting .412.
Average up. Usually it's because the hitter's using the whole field, and that is the case for Lorenzo. Using all of it. Right field, center field.
In the air, right center field. Kevin Kiermaier makes the catch. Gordon back to first base. How about the Rays defensively? They've made just one more error than Kansas City.
No, but let's highlight Chris Archer. First All-Star selection. Nice to see him get an opportunity, but still don't know whether he's going to be the starter or not. But what's impressive is what the left side of the infield's doing. Asdrubal Cabrera, Evan Longoria, they've combined to make only 7 errors this year. That's the fewest of any third base and shortstop combination in the majors. They've been good. Airtight.
Now Eric Hosmer trying to find his stride. He thought he checked his swing. They appeal at third, and Tim Timmons said Hos went.
Situations like this where you don't think you went, and then you look down at that umpire, he puts that hammer sign up. Sometimes it can get you out of your game and you get angry. Quickly let that go.
Hosmer with a good pass at a 96-mile-an-hour fastball.
1 for 4 off of Archer.
And struggling a bit on this homestand, just 4 hits and 24 at bats, but he got a key hit to start the Royal 9th in game 1 yesterday. Hosmer got what appeared to be a very good changeup from Boxberger, stayed with it, went down and got it, and sent it to center field. And a few batters later, Orlando would send it out. The runner goes, pitch swung on and missed, so it doesn't matter. That's a strikeout of Hosmer, and that will do it for the Royals in the first inning. No runs, a hit, 1 man left.
Good practice anyway.
War book, More Than a Season. The book explores the intersection of faith, family, and leadership, and the process of rebuilding a championship culture in Kansas City. Now, fans, 100% of the proceeds from the book purchases support Dayton Moore's charity, See You in the Major League. So for just $25, purchase your autographed copy today at the Majestic Team Store. And it goes to a great cause for children.
Yeah, and you know what? What a team Dayton has. And I'm not talking about the Royals and the wonderful organization that he works for, his family. And I love the book for that reason. Guthrie, wow, that might be the easiest out he's been able to make in a long time. But anyway, you know, Dayton Moore, he's a family first kind of guy, and you love that. Everything else revolves around it. Of course, his faith he tries to put before the family, and it's kind of a hard juggle at times, but he makes time.
Well, he made time for the media today, talking about the Royals' success as they near the break, and right now in first place by 4 games over Minnesota. The Twins won today over Baltimore 5-3. But the first thing he addressed was how proud he is of the fan support, of the way they rallied to help the team get to the World Series last year. And they've been averaging 33,500 fans per game. We have another good crowd here for Thursday night, and the weather has not been the best early this week. But growing up here, I've always thought it was a Royals Chiefs town, and we have a great soccer team as well. But here we are at Kauffman Stadium in the middle of July, and usually the temperature is about 30 degrees higher.
I can't believe it. There's people with jackets out there.
You've got a scarf on.
Well, you know what? I can't help it. At least it's royal blue.
There you go. Now the 0-2 pitch to Kevin Kiermaier, and he fouls it off. Andy McCullough, who's a terrific writer for the Kansas City Star, he asked Dayton, I thought, a very critical question. He said, how do you maximize the team for this year but keep an eye on the future? And that's difficult to do, because this is a terrific team, American League Championship team, but the trade deadline is 23 days away. Dayton simply said, you're always trying to improve your team for now and for the future. Fly ball center field. Kane comes on and makes another Gold Glove play.
Lorenzo wasn't sure what kind of contact that Kiermaier made, whether it was solid or not, but he hesitated a second. See him at the top of your screen. Watch him. He's got to get the read. Then he turns on the jets. And, you know, whenever he leaves his feet, it's always to make a play that needs to be dove for. So, nice play again up at Guthrie. Kiermaier would have had a double.
And that was the first test of Kane's hamstrings.
Yep. 10 defensive runs saved. That's in the top 5 of Major League outfielders. Guthrie tipped the cap. Thank you. Kiermaier was almost halfway to second base by the time he made the play.
He's a hustler.
Sure is.
Rivera ground ball. Cuthbert. Much better second inning for Jeremy Guthrie. 1-2-3 go the Rays. Bottom 2 we go. Kendrys Morales will lead things off when we come back. hashtag KC Data Strong Fan, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile. Looks like we got some angry weather out there, but Trevor Vance, our great groundskeeper, says doesn't look like much rain.
This ain't angry weather, Fizz. What we saw on Monday.
I know. I'm just saying.
Out.
That picture was.
They were. The sky was mad on Monday.
High fly ball, left field. Playable for David DeJesus, who makes the catch, and Kendrys Morales is the first out of the bottom of the second. I mean, look at that sky from Kauffman Stadium last night.
My boys called me, and of course my wife wasn't home.
This was on Monday night.
Yeah, Monday night, and they were saying, "Daddy, we see a funnel cloud," and I said, "It's okay, just get in the basement, you'll be okay." And then, sure enough, one of my neighbors sent a picture of it. It looked angry.
It was out near Olathe. Well, here is Salvador Perez, and he sent out an Instagram of how the dugout was getting flooded and the batting cages as well. Heck, that could have been after a Royal victory after Salvador dumped water on somebody. And Salvi pops it up to the right side. Brandon Geyer, and there's two out.
And Chris Archer, when he struck out Hosmer in that first inning, he used an elevated fastball, and he's going to use that, and that's a tough pitch for hitters because it looks so good, but then he will elevate to get him to swing and miss, and then he drops that slider. It comes out of the same plane. So there's a lot of deception going on with Archer. One of the reasons why he's so good.
Now Omar Infante. Omar, good doubleheader yesterday, 3 for 8. Archer, just 26 years of age, out of Raleigh, North Carolina. He was Cleveland's 5th-round pick in 2006 out of high school, and traded to the Chicago Cubs, kind of a throw-in a deal in 2008, and then to Tampa Bay, part of the Matt Garza deal. Always had a good arm, but not much command or control, but now he has that.
Until you've had any success, you're going to be listening and looking and wondering what kind of pitcher you're going to be. But I can tell you that he shared with me on Monday that Jim Hickey, his pitching coach, has been a real big influence for this young man. He's given him confidence.
The ball gets away, goes back to the screen. Rivera fires to first, not in time. So a strikeout, but safe at first because of the wild pitch. It's Infante, and the inning will continue.
8th wild pitch on the season for Archer. And that slider at times when it gets down in the dirt like that can be very difficult to pick up. Rene Rivera, he's a good glove guy, but sometimes it's going to skip by you. Good to see Infante leg it out. When the ball hit the back of the backstop, it deadened. That helped him.
So now we'll see Alex Rios step up with Infante at first base. And Rex, you were talking about Jim Hickey's influence on Chris Archer.
That's right. He told Chris Archer that you can be the best of the best, and for that, talking about the Rays and all the young pitchers that they have, and he said that Jim Hickey's been pushing him to be the best. He said he can be better than than Price, the lefty.
Yeah, David Price was his mentor last year.
Right.
And for the last couple of years. Great guy to follow. Alex sends it in the air, left center field. Kiermaier there. Royals threaten but do not score. They have 2 base runners first 2 innings, and we want our fans to know one of the great stars from Royals past, Brett Saberhagen, MVP, 85 World Series. He'll be joining us right after this. days when the Royals won their World Championship in 1985, and the star of that World Series right there, Brett Saberhagen, number 31, a precocious young man out of Southern California who now joins us to watch here in the third inning. And Brett, thanks for joining us. I know you're here to give back to the Kansas City community, but we want to go back to yesteryear and get the feelings of what it was like in '85, because you were barely out of high school.
21 years old. Yes, it was great. I think the Royals the Royals fans got to experience a little bit of that last year, being in the World Series and coming very close to winning another championship. And it was so exciting. The kids, my kids, they got a chance to see Royals playoff baseball for the first time, and that's what's great about it. I kind of reflect back and go, okay, a lot of these parents saw us win a championship in 1985, but they're talking to their kids now, and they've never experienced postseason baseball, so they've got a chance to experience it with their kids when they got a chance to experience it with their parents. So it's great to have my kids around and really kind of go through what it's all about in Kansas City.
John Jaso with a base hit to right field. So you probably knew what Yordano Ventura, young pitcher, just 22 years of age last year, was going through emotionally in Game 6 of the World Series.
He's a fabulous pitcher, fun to watch. He's got great ability, and yeah, I was talking a little bit earlier to Monty about after the '85 year, winning the World Series, Cy Young Award, coming into spring training and trying to do too much too soon and show everybody and prove to everybody that it wasn't a fluke, and ended up having a few setbacks in 1986 because I was trying to do too much and not just go out there and pitch and do my job, but trying to prove to everybody I was worthy of it.
Yeah, and similar to what Yordano's had to go through this year.
Exactly, yes. And he'll be back, and he'll be back strong and throwing again, but you know, it's one of those things in the back of everybody's mind. It's like you want to kind of continue to prove to everybody that you're that guy, and a lot of pressure on a youngster that age. But again, he'll come back strong, and he'll be good as new before too long.
Saves, it was different back then when we played, for sure. There was more fights, and you know, there wasn't this kind of suspensions they have now for charging them out or anything like that. But you know, some of the problems that Yordano had weren't really problems. What was happening is that the Royals were getting drilled early in the season, and he just was sticking up for his players.
No, you love that, especially you love it when a pitcher has your back, and you know, that's what's it. Sometimes you know, the manager might have to say something, but it seems like these guys here in this dugout, they've come up together, they've been in the trenches through the good and through the bad, and they have each other's back. And you know, if something happens during a game to one of their guys, they're gonna get even.
And Saves, you did that, and you know, you didn't necessarily need a manager. You could hear the players talk. You're watching the game and everything, so you know, there were times when you had to take care of business yourself.
Well, there was a time where I was told not to do anything before a certain time, but I don't know if I'm going to have that opportunity the later part of the game. So you got to take that opportunity to. It doesn't matter when it is. For me, at least, it was okay. Let's get this thing done with, and an eye for an eye.
And I don't know how many times as the ball gets away from Salvi, that will send Jaso to second base, where Dave Island will say, Yordano Ventura, his aptitude, his intelligence is off the charts. He is so competitive. But he said, what we have to realize, he's only 23, and the only cure for that is 24.
Right. No, everybody's got to realize he's had so much success early on. He seems like one of those older veteran guys, and you know, it's learning on the job process, and I'm sure he's getting it. And nice
outside corner, beautifully thrown by Jeremy Guthrie to catch Longoria looking.
But yeah, it's, you know, it's that fine line though. You don't want to hurt the team, but you want to make sure that the players know that you got your back.
Longo, you got to go. Saves, what are you doing here in Kansas City now?
I had a little blood drive today, a little community work. It's always great to get back to Kansas City and give back. Have tomorrow a luncheon for the Boys and Girls Club. So just doing a few things here and there, and yeah, it's great to get back out to the K. beautiful ballpark. I just love coming here, and I mean, we had a nice ballpark back when I was here, but this thing is spectacular now.
We're visiting with Brett Saberhagen, who is drafted by the Royals, but you were looked at first as an infielder. You were an outstanding shortstop in Southern California. What was that like to make that transition? Because I'm sure there was part of you that wanted to stay an offensive player.
Well, my love was shortstop. I love being in the field and swinging the bat. And my senior year, I came out and I threw the ball too hard too soon. The scouts were out, and they kind of dwindled when I came back, and I wasn't throwing as hard after a little tendonitis in my shoulder. But drafted at 19th round as a shortstop that year. We went to the playoffs and threw in 3 out of the 4 games and got 3 wins in the playoffs and no-hitter at Dodger Stadium. And that's where they really wanted me. It was as a pitcher, not as a shortstop. And once they saw my arm was back, they said, no, you're not going to go play any shortstop. You're going to pitch.
You had to throw that 95 heater on the outside corner exactly where you wanted to. You did that throughout that 85 playoffs.
Yeah, it was a good time. And, you know, it was growing up, I mean, physically with the Royals.
There's a base hit to right field. Jaso comes around third base. Rios throw home, not in time. Perez to second, out there, but the Rays will take the 1-0 lead. Brett Saberhagen, glad to have you back in Kansas City.
It's good to be back. Thanks, guys. Always a pleasure.
Saves, honor to have you up here, bud.
There he is. Congratulations. 85 World Series MVP.
We'll see you in October.
Got it. Taylor Shorten after Sam was diagnosed with a rare bone marrow failure disease and unable to find a match in the National Bone Marrow Donor Registry. She, Alex, and Taylor created Sharing America's Marrow. Now on a journey across the country to spread the word about the need for donors, squash myths about the donation process, and turn regular people into heroes by giving them the opportunity to save a life. They plan to visit all 50 states this year. From what I understand, it isn't as invasive, that testing, as it used to be, and boy, they have done an amazing job with their work here in Kansas City and throughout the country.
Way to go, ladies, and aren't they beautiful? Wow.
Well, here's that situation you were talking about, Rex. The kid, 22 years old, rookie. He's going to see one of the best sliders in the game, and he has a favorable count right now at 2 balls and 1 strike.
Yep. I'll never forget seeing that first big league slider.
Cuthbert hit it pretty well. It is caught by the right fielder Brandon Geyer, but he made good contact on the slider.
Everything I'm seeing from Cuthbert is telling me he belongs here. He looks confident. He looks good defensively. I like his throwing stroke over there. It's a short arm to first, but it's powerful and it's accurate. Look at him going down and trying to go to the opposite field with this pitch here.
Great energy, hard worker. We had a chance to see him during spring training. Defensively, he is major league ready. But I'm sure the Royals would like to see him hit for a higher batting average than the .255 career in the minor leagues. Here is Escobar, singled sharply off the leg of Archer in the first inning, and now comes up and singles sharply to left field. So Esky has the only 2 hits off Chris.
You know, coming in, he was 3 for 5, so he felt pretty confident before he even got in that batter's box to face Archer.
Alex Gordon reached on a fielder's choice his first time up, but how about half a day? 7 for 9.
Shoot, that's better than a lot of guys' full week's work. Great job hitting. I mean, he busted the ones and pulled them that he had to, but I was impressed with the opposite field shots, especially that one there hit the base of the wall. Had a chance to talk with Alex today about getting hit, and I go, man, we couldn't tell if you got hit in the elbow or the forearm or where it was, and he said no, it was just down right at the base of my wrist on the outside, and I thought that I was going to be in trouble because it turned black and blue right away, and I thought that was going to be, there was going to be some lingering effects, but it turned out to be okay.
Yeah, the Royals did the medical tests in between game 1 and 2, and obviously it really hurt him and held him back after he homered his next time up, and then followed with another 5 hits.
I know, but I liked how he gave Jershely the fist bump with his left hand when he rounded third.
That's smart.
Yeah, instead of his right.
Escobar has not gone yet, and this is a good running count at 2-1. Rivera, excellent catch and throw guy. Escobar does go, and the pitch is swung on and missed. Throw to second. Out at second is Alcides Escobar.
Archer, very difficult to steal on. Gets the ball home quickly, and you mentioned the catch and throw ability of Rene Rivera. Right on the money. Perfect throw. The throw's higher, you know, he might have gotten under the tag.
He's now thrown out 40% of would-be base stealers this year. Gordon missed his pitch. Whoa, it was there for him. Yeah, that was a bit of a hanger.
It was, and Alex, he picked a good pitch to take a rip on. Looked like he was going opposite field. And we talked about in the splits, Archer is so good against righties at 187 average, 3 homers. Lefties 204, not a lot better, but 6 home runs. So he can't give up the long ball. It's because he pitches effectively up in the zone, and sometimes you miss.
Well, he will walk this time with 2 out. First walk by Archer, and Archer leading the American League in so many categories. Top 5, as you see, first in opponent batting average, second in ERA at 2.18, third in strikeouts with 141, and 141 strikeouts, Rex, in 115 2/3 innings.
Dominant. Wow. Yeah, that's what that is. And the right-handers have a tough time with that slider. He starts it middle of the plate and it ends up way off it. Hard too. Some good velocity.
That's why to get 2 wins yesterday awfully important against this Rays club that had been struggling of late. They've lost 9 of their last 10. When they've been good, their pitching staff has been excellent, but their ERA over 7 in the last 10 games. Kane to center field, backing up Kiermaier. He got it! Lorenzo Kane just took the dominant right-hander deep.
That ball was loud on contact, and it's so far away center field here at the K that you just had to, you couldn't hardly tell it till it got to the wall. But man, that's a slider that stayed up, and Lorenzo Cain barreled it. I could tell the sound was loud, but man, oh man, the second home run of the year that he's gone straight away center with.
On one pitch, the Royals, who were down 1-0, now are in front 2-1.
Oh, nice to have this man back. Look at that lead back, man. That's tremendous.
Royals fans have voted in a KC record 4 starters to the All-Star game, but your work isn't done yet. Third baseman Mike Moustakas is a final vote candidate in the American League, and he needs your support. Voting is now live and ends at 3 o'clock this Friday, so go to Royals.com/vote or text A5 to the number 89269. Let's make a statement with 7 Royals in the All-Star game. Vote Moose. And I saw a lot of the guys taking batting practice today with Vote Moose t-shirts on, and of course Moose not with the team because he's with his family at a very difficult time, but Moose was leading in the All-Star game voting earlier today in the American League, and the National League leader was Johnny Cueto of the Cincinnati Reds, who is hosting the All-Star game. And he bested Max Scherzer in Washington last night with 11 strikeout performance. He looked outstanding. And Friday at 3 Central, we'll find out if Moose made it for the American League.
Okay, still got a few days, folks. Keep it up. Let's continue the Royal Blue push.
Jeremy Guthrie with a 2-2 count to the right-handed batting Logan Forsythe.
I think that's going to stay in.
Salvi thinks it is, but it's in the well.
We got a slight breeze here at the K today, blowing a little bit from the left field foul pole to the right. Not a heavy wind. Should not affect the ball unless it's hit not so hard. Could be held in.
That ball struck pretty well. Gordon racing back, still going back, and it's just over his head, and Forsythe will have a double. And Gordon is down. Oh man, they're going to send Forsythe home, and Alex Gordon is hurt and left. It is an inside the park home run for Logan Forsythe.
Well, you wonder if it's that right wrist.
Well, you can hear a pin drop on Cotton here at Kauffman Stadium. Alex Gordon coming off one of the best days in his career, going 7 for 9.
Looks like they're checking on his leg. Long run. Okay, now decelerating. Uh-oh. Yeah, you know, it looks pretty rough on the lower body just by slowing down. When you decelerate, sometimes that can cause injury.
Alex Gordon, you saw the awkward way he landed on that left leg and in terrible pain. And Lorenzo Cain, who came over to send the relay throw in, and right now the entire medical team is out there. Head athletic trainer Nick Kenny, Kyle Turner. Well, the Royals have been through some difficult times this year and survived thus far with a 4-game lead in the American League Central and 15 games over 500. But this is one of their dear warriors and leaders, Alex Gordon, going down in pain in left center field as Logan Forsythe gets an inside the park home run. Gordon will be helped to his feet and onto the truck. He has been the rock of the Royals for several years. It seems like no wall can conquer him. And on an awkward landing as he tried to decelerate in left center field, chasing Logan Forsythe's drive, Alex Gordon injures his left leg.
Oh, that's just painful to watch. And right now, the feelings that are going through his mind are not really with the pain as much as it hurts. It's more about the fact that he knows he injured himself, and he's bummed about that.
Alex Gordon going up the runway, and obviously the medical team. I just saw Dr. Vincent Key run out of the field. Now he's heading inside, I'm sure, for the x-rays, the MRIs, and our thoughts are with Alex Gordon right now, as one of the top left fielders in all of baseball has been injured. And we will show you the replay again as Gerard Dyson will come out and take his spot in left field.
Yep. Alex Gordon, the best defender in the American League. Platinum glove winner.
You can see Eske looking over his shoulder. He knows he has to get in cutoff position, but he was looking towards the dugout, knowing his teammate is down and hurt, as Forsythe has tied the game. So we must play on, and now Guthrie will face David DeJesus. 2 runs, 3 hits for the Royals, 2 runs, 3 hits for the Rays. Strike 1. DeJesus flied out with the bases loaded to end the first inning. Told you how DeJesus was raised in the Royals organization. Still loves coming back to Kansas City. He's from Brooklyn, New York, though. Now a veteran at the age of 35. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Two balls and 2 strikes. And Rex, earlier tonight, Dayton Moore was talking about how proud he is of the fan support this year, and should be, but the enthusiasm at Kauffman Stadium has been contagious and also relentless, but right now incredibly quiet, because you can tell each and every member of this Royals family, which includes the fans, just really heavy hearts for Alex Gordon after watching him injure himself in left center field.
Yep, it's a terrible part of the game, but it happens every single night
in every single sport.
Right.
It's a 3-2 pitch outside, and that's the 4th walk issued by Jeremy Guthrie tonight. But Ned Yost, his idea is let's move on. He sees Nick Kenny, his head athletic trainer, and this is definitely part of the game. Ned was with the Atlanta Braves when Chipper Jones went down with several great injuries, and Chipper so important to that Braves success.
How about Giancarlo Stanton? Okay, that guy's been carrying the Marlins, just carrying them out. Yeah, other guys got to step up. That's all there is to it.
Brandon Guyer popped up his first time up, and now he lines a single into left center field. DeJesus will hold at second base. Guthrie labored in the first inning, loaded the bases all on walks, then got DeJesus on a flyout. He worked an easy second inning, getting them in order, then gave up a run in the 3rd, and now has given up a inside the park home run to Forsythe, walked DeJesus, and given up a single by Guyer, and they're thinking that Kiermaier might be bunting, so Cheslor Cuthbert comes in to find out, just in case Kiermaier tries to bunt, what his responsibilities will be, and they may have the wheel play on with Escobar covering 3rd.
Yep, they have a few options. First baseman Hosmer can crash. Cuthbert could crash. Escobar covers 3rd. They call that the wheel play. You get the force at 3rd.
Strike in there. Kiermaier robbed of a hit on a great diving catch by Lorenzo Cain in center field.
And Kiermaier, a .281 hitter with a runner in scoring position, and as hard as it has been for the Rays to score runs, maybe that he's going to let him attempt to swing.
Center field again. This time Cain will see it drop. The bases will be loaded. Lorenzo deked DeJesus well, so he wasn't able to round third base and score. Out comes Dave Island. Well, after that first inning, when they fly it out with the bases loaded, the Tampa Bay Rays, with a dreadful 1 for 20 with runners in scoring position after the first inning. Well, right now we're bringing in Jeff Montgomery, and Monty, I wanted to visit with you about what has taken place. Alex Gordon, one of the heart and soul of this ball club, just left the game with an injury, and Jeremy Guthrie had to stand out there for a long time, but also you could feel like a punch to the gut to the entire team.
Well, it really does, and I think if you're the pitcher, then you're the guy that all the action starts, but you have to have that ability to really focus on what you have to do, and it's tough to do when there are distractions. I remember times when you're trying to do your work on the mound and a fan runs onto the field, you have that distraction, or you have to wait on something to happen, and it's always much more difficult for a pitcher when you break up that rhythm.
Rene Rivera with a base hit to center field. DeJesus will score. They will hold Geyer at third base.
All of a sudden, wheels are falling off for Jeremy Guthrie here. And you're right, Monty. You have to be so mentally strong when things happen. You have to be able to turn the page as quick as you can in order to perform, because nothing stops the game. It keeps going.
Yeah, and it's a lot of times, I would say it's comparable to when players are not making plays behind you. It's easy to get off track, but you have to find a way to make that pitch, to execute, and to get the job done.
Now John Jaso, and he takes a first pitch curveball for strike one. A home run, a walk, 3 straight singles. The last by Rene Rivera. And now Jaso to left field. Dyson will make the catch. They're going to send Geyer. Here's the throw by Dyson. It's a good one, and they got him.
Just what I'm talking about. Someone else has to step up, and you could tell this ball was hit, and Dyson he threw it with a grudge. He says, I'm going to load up and use my arm. Perfect throw too. It was on the good side of the plate where you could get the tag on him. Love it. Geyer, a good runner. Salvador Perez, good positioning, was able to catch it. The ball was towards the dugout side of the plate, but still, that was right on and a good angle for Salvi to be able to drop it on him. And that's what we're talking about, stepping up. Alex Gordon probably would have done the same thing, but Dyson coming in a moment's notice has to make that play, and that ball will find you when you go out on that field, believe me.
Right, and that's a really nice play by Gerard Dyson, exactly what Jeremy Guthrie and his team needed to get that momentum back on their side.
Currently the Royals trail 3-2, and Guthrie really being hit hard in this 4th inning. But that might be the play of the game if the Royals come back and win.
What a pick-me-up for Guthrie.
Now Asdrubal Cabrera, and he takes a first pitch strike. Cabrera 0 for 2 with a strikeout and pop-up. Dyson with a Gordon-like throw, pick off at second base, but getting back in time is Tampa Bay. Kiermaier, excellent speed at second base. He's 9 for 10 this year in steals. 1 ball, 1 strike to Cabrera. Advantage Guthrie at 1 ball, 2 strikes. Cabrera taking a shot at left field, fouls off the fastball. Monty, it seemed like Guthrie's two-seamer was catching too much of the plate, like he was trying to hit the outside corner, but it would run back too much over the heart.
Right, he's getting a lot of lateral movement on that fastball tonight. As a result, his command has not been on spot like he needs it to be.
Lateral movement means on a flat plane easier to hit.
Cabrera hits it high in the air. Rios chasing it near the line. Alex is there to make the catch. Well, Guthrie, he can thank Gerard Diceman. A wonderful throw by Dice in left field. It was Gordon-esque, and the Rays lead by just one. By Panera Bread. Avoid the lines. Order online with rapid pickup at delivery.panerabread.com. By Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. And by Jeep. Find your summer of adventure with great deals at the Jeep Summer Clearance Event. We come to you from Kauffman Stadium. Still a lot of long faces on that Royals bench after one of their leaders, Alex Gordon, injured himself in left field. We're still waiting to get the update from the Royals Media Relations Department, as I'm sure Alex having x-rays and MRI on that left leg. Here is Kendrys Morales. Flied out to left field first time up. The Royals got 2 runs, and the third on a 2-run home run by Lorenzo Cain to dead center field. Talked about that outstanding road ERA that Archer has, and Morales slaps that one foul, and it's a 2-2 count. His 0.77 ERA, best in the majors on the road. In fact, the last time a pitcher had a lower ERA at the end of play on July 7th, as Archer enters today's start, was Houston's Roger Clemens in 2005. 0.20.
Monty, did you see those numbers that Morales has put up on Archer with a very small sample size? 5 for now, 9 with 1 homer. Boy, you hit a pitcher like that at that clip, that's impressive.
Fairly comfortable against him.
Yeah.
That might have been the old Archer, though. This new version has been mighty impressive. We told you he was with the Cleveland organization, the Chicago Cubs organization, and then mainly a throw-in on those deals because he didn't have the command or the control. Last 2 years he's found it, and he's been very good.
It's because now he's trusting himself and his stuff. That's what he told me on Monday. I'm trusting me now. And now I know who I am. Kind of like the Royals as a team, And so, he credits Jim Hickey, but also he says that outside of the ones that love you, it's nice to have a pitching coach that can critique you and to encourage you and say you're good, you could be the best, you can be as good as David Price or better.
And really what that does, it gives you that conviction. In fact, I was just talking earlier with Bruce Chen and Joel Goldberg about this. When you're going to make that pitch, don't rent it, buy it. Believe in it. Know that you're going to execute that pitch.
Conviction, just like Morales says, you know what?
On pitch number 9, Kendrys Morales is now 6 for 10 against the Tampa Bay right-hander.
That's nice. That high fastball that Archer likes to try to manipulate hitters with, he was able to stay on top of it and go to the opposite field. Watch how he stays on top of this pitch here. This is letter high. That's nice. Very good hands. You can see how he does that flamingo toe tap from the left side and is able to get some top spin on a ball that most hitters are going to foul straight back.
A grounder back up the middle. Archer will go second for 1, and they will get the double play.
Archer, a fine athlete, no problem. Like how he came down, gathered himself, and a short arm strike. See that? He looked like he was an infielder there. He didn't wind up and throw it. He just got it to him.
We knew he had plenty of time with Salvador Perez running, and oftentimes you'll see the shortstop covering on a ball back to the pitcher. This time we're going to see the second baseman four-side covering.
And Rex, you had a chance to meet Chris Archer personally when you were on a Major League Baseball tour in Fort Bragg, North Carolina a couple of years ago. And this guy is an amazing story, as he was adopted at the age of 2 by his maternal grandmother and her husband, Ron Archer. He finally did meet his biological father, I understand, in 2013, but you found him to not only be a wonderful athlete, but really a remarkable young man as far as intellect. I mean, just his expanse of interest is off the charts.
Yeah, and that's salute to the troops that I was so honored to be a part of with Fox. They went down to Fort Bragg, North Carolina, and it was impressive to get to know him and to just have conversation with him for 2 or 3 days we were together.
And we'll talk more about that. The end of 4. It's the Rays by 1.
Three-two Rays lead the Royals. That's Jamison Danzo, Nick Danzo on our cruise kid, enjoying things and having a good time here at the ballpark. Our Mazda game break takes us to Minnesota, and that would be Brian Dozier going deep with the home run in a walk-off a couple of nights ago. Home run in this one. He's up for that final vote, so remember, got to vote A5 for Moose for that final spot. Quick one out to start the inning, guys.
Thank you very much, Joel. And we've just received information from Mike Swanson about Alex Gordon's injury he suffered in left field chasing a fly ball struck by Logan Forsythe. We understand it is a left groin strain. left groin strain.
Oh man, I feel relieved to hear that. I'm glad it wasn't a quad or a hammy. Quad or a hammy?
Knee.
Yeah. And the groin, you know, it heals a little bit better than those other running muscles, but I'm hoping he's going to be all right. Not miss a whole lot.
Anytime it's not a joint, to me it sounds like it's a lot better. If it's a muscle, gotta like that.
Here is James Loney. And Monty, you've been through that before where you injured your shoulder and you said actually you felt pretty good, but it wasn't until later where you discovered you had suffered an injury.
Exactly. Sometimes the body will protect itself.
Jeremy Guthrie trying to bounce back against James Loney. Has an 0-2 count. In the air, shallow left center field. Dyson being called off by Escobar, and Esky is there to make the catch for out number 2. And earlier today, Jason Vargas threw a simulated game to a couple of Royals, and we were watching that down in the dugout. Monty, your thoughts?
Yeah, I saw him throw the first couple innings of that simulated game. To me, he looked exactly what you would expect to see from a healthy Jason Vargas, so I thought that was a very good sign.
Oh, he looked really good. I was able to watch him. But you know, the thing that tickled me was, you know, his little boy was out there on the field running around with one of the other kids, you know, and kids are allowed in, at least the boys' sons are allowed. And Vargas, after he threw a pitch, he looked over at his son and he pointed his glove at him and he yelled at his son about something. And so you could tell that Vargas's fathering skills were working in the middle of his work.
Well, Vargas will go out on Monday to pitch for Northwest Arkansas, and then hopefully we'll be back after the All-Star break. By Thoroughbred Ford. For the best deals on new Ford cars and trucks, visit thoroughbredford.com. Here at Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City, the Rays with a 3-2 lead over the Kansas City Royals. Royals roared back in Game 1 last night to win. Alex Rios will face Chris Archer for the second time, and last time Archer was out there, Hud, we were talking about your visiting Fort Bragg with Chris as part of a Major League Baseball tour to help out our servicemen.
Yeah, we were.
And from what I understand, Chris is one of those guys, if he didn't play baseball, he said he'd be pursuing a career in psychology.
Yeah, very intelligent personality, good personality, fun. But you know, we started doing the exercises that the troops do, and they wanted to put us through them, and we were going under fences, you know, under barbed wire and hopping fences, and I looked for Archer, and he didn't want any part of that. And it was 2 weeks before spring training, And so when it was over, the exercise was over, and we were all doing it, we said, how come you didn't want to come? He goes, my obligation certainly is here to motivate the troops and help out. But my motivation mainly is for my Tampa Bay Rays. If I go under there and I hurt myself, I'm not good for my team in spring training in a couple weeks. So it just told me where his focus was, how smart a young player. You know, most young guys are going to go out and go, yeah, I'm going to do it. Let's go run. Let's go do all the stuff that.
Like you did.
Exactly.
You climbed that wall. I remember you jumped out like a parachuter.
Yeah. So he wanted no part of those activities. However, he was there to encourage the troops and have a lot of fun. But it just impressed me how mature he was at such a young age.
Everyone I've talked to about Chris Archer just has raving reviews about him as a person.
Down low, and Cuthbert with a favorable 3-1 count. Then tight, and Cuthbert works the walk. Second walk issued by Archer. Last one scored on the home run by Kane.
First big league walk in his career.
Well, Escobar had 2 big knocks in the game yesterday as we take a look at our AT&T U-Verse rewind, but his teammate Paulo Orlando got the big one in game 1, the walk-off grand slam.
Got it all in one. First walk-off and first grand slam.
Then Escobar in the 6th inning, an 11-pitch at bat, cleared the bases with that double down the left field line. Esky even said after the game, that's my best at bat of the year.
Couldn't get much better than that one.
Well, you know, and I said that about him. I mean, we see all the games. I said, man, that's the best AB I've seen. And then I asked Ned today, Ned, what did you think? He goes, man, that was worth the ticket. Just that at bat and how clutch it was to really lift us all up and got this crowd back into the game and got them a big lead.
In the dirt, great block by Rivera. Escobar, that's the second time he's hit one off of the pitcher Archer. They throw back to second. Cuthbert is able to get back in time. But Escobar lined one off of Archer in the first and now lines one off of Archer again in the 5th inning. This time he's asking for the medical staff to come out and have a look.
Wow, this one hit him even more square than the first one. The first one glanced off to the third baseman Longoria, and this one here bounced directly back to the Royals dugout, and that hit him squarely. I wonder where it got him. Might on the foot. Yeah, I thought I heard something loud. You know, I could hear it from up here, and it was his heel. It looked like it hit him in the foot.
Well, he was letting the training staff know that he was okay. They want to see him throw a couple of pitches. And Kevin Cash breathes a sigh of relief. Meantime, we have another update on the Alex Gordon injury. The Royals are going to have him undergo an MRI to check out the severity of the left groin strain that he suffered, trying to make a terrific play in left center field, and had an awkward landing in left field. Gerard Dyson, meantime, came in to replace Alex and made an outstanding throw in that same inning to make the catch and then double up a runner who tried to advance in a sac fly.
I mean, it was a huge pick-me-up. Guthrie had struggled in the inning. Nobody out, and they looked like they were going to get more, and just a great load with his lower half. He's able to come over the top, straight over the top. Second outfield assist of the year, and it was a beauty. That's what you're talking about. When you lose a guy, the next guy coming in says, all right, I'm going to pick you up. It's too bad that ball couldn't get through Archer and got to the middle. That would have been first and third with one out. Instead, we got first and second.
Archer's dropped 2 strikes in on Dyson.
Going to try to get Dyson out with that high fastball.
Tried to check his swing, but went.
Slider hard to lay off of, especially with 2 strikes. He buries him.
Yeah, here's a situation where he doesn't have to be too fine with this pitch. He can throw it anywhere outside the strike zone. You got a chance at a guy swinging at it because they have to protect against that good fastball that he has. And he climbs the ladder with the fastball, that he comes down with that slider. Almost unhittable.
Especially down low. But we saw what can happen if the slider's out over the middle, and Lorenzo Cain took him straight away center. That pitch down there, it's hard to lay off of.
Up the middle, Lorenzo Cain. They've got no play. They're coming home with it, and save! Cuthbert scores from second base, the tying run.
Oh, what a play by Archer.
Cash may challenge.
That's an excellent play by Forsythe to keep it from going in the outfield. But whenever the pitcher cuts the ball off, we talked about Archer's fielding skills on that double play he turned earlier. Man, he made a perfect throw to home. Look at this, Forsythe's able to grab it and throw off balance. He got it to Archer. Archer, look at his short stroke with his arm. Perfect throw. But Cuthbert coming hard, scoring from second on the infield hit.
And Cuthbert not hesitating was the key to that play. Archer really not even should be part of that play. Should be backing up home plate, but he's in the right place at the right time to at least give himself a chance to get it out.
And how about this? You know, Alcides Escobar is 3 for 3 tonight. The only other player in the major leagues with 3 hits off Chris Archer in 2015 is another Escobar, Yunel Escobar. That's crazy. Thank you, Dave Holtzman, for finding out that information.
2 of those 3 hits were off of the body of Archer.
Hosmer's been swinging early at Archer.
Well, the reason you're swinging early is so you don't get the slider. Usually, almost 90% of the time, it's going to be a fastball.
Escobar at third, Cain at first. There's a line shot to center field, and that's a base hit. Escobar scores. Royals in front 4-3.
Hosmer being aggressive. That ball stayed up in the zone. It was 91, but it was right out over the middle. Hosmer with a good easy stroke. Now it's a good thing he didn't barrel it, or that'd have been right at Kiermaier. So the fact it jammed him, he didn't be able to get the full contact, and so look, it fell, and it was a beautiful, timely hit.
And Monty, it does not appear that Chris Archer is as sharp as he was against the Yankees when he threw 6 2/3 shutout innings. But I will say this. In 6 2/3, he threw a season-high 122 pitches, and obviously maybe that taxed him in his bounce-back start.
Right, a lot of times you see a little residual from that whenever you do go to those new limits with regards to your pitch count in a particular game.
Morales deep to center field, over the head of Kiermaier. In comes one. Here comes Hosmer. Throw to the plate, not in time. Way to go, KO.
Some more frenzy-style hitting off of one of the best pitchers in baseball, Chris Archer. And the Royals, they feed off of each other, and they are here. That's a good low fastball, but it's out over the middle of the plate. Kendrys Morales is not going to miss those. A great form, nice short stroke. He's able to bury it off the center field wall here at the K. 4-10 straight away.
He now has 56 RBIs, tied with Albert Pujols for 5th in the American League. But Chris Archer, this entire road, on the road this year, had an 0.77 ERA. He had allowed 4 earned runs total in 46 and 2/3 innings on the road. The Royals have scored 6 off Archer tonight.
Not surprised at all. Look at that. That's a beautiful golf swing. I mean, I tell you, that balance was perfect down the middle and well produced runs there. I mean, that's beautiful.
We've talked a lot about the slider of Archer tonight, but I think his inability to bury that slider on the really the corner parts of the plate has made him throw more fastballs. There we saw Kendrys Morales, the benefactor of that, and got that fastball and drove it.
Now Salvador Perez, who grounded to a double play his last time up. Royals again doing damage with 2 out. With 2 out, the single by Kane, the single by Hosmer, the double by Morales.
Tell you what, Mike Jersley, third base coach, he deserves a lot of credit for sending Cuthbert on that infield hit by Kane. That really got this team moving and got him going. Cuthbert, he told me a couple of days ago when I asked him, what are your skill set? Well, how about your speed? He says, I'm an average runner. But he didn't look like an average runner to me there. He looked like he's got some good speed.
Well, he knew what he had to do, and he didn't hesitate.
Exactly.
You know what, guys? Kevin Cash said this about the Royals after being swept by Kansas City yesterday. You have to give the Royals credit. They're good. They put the ball in play. They make things happen. And they are against one of the best pitchers in the game. Morales at second base. Stays put as Perez fouls it off. But they don't walk much, but they don't strike out much. So they're making contests.
And they don't hit homers that much.
But they make the defense move.
Yep.
Perez dumps one to right. That's a base hit. They're going to send Morales. And I can't believe Geyer didn't throw home. He got to it quickly. And Kendrys was only at third base, but Geyer held onto the baseball and brought it back to the middle of the infield.
Yeah, and Mike Jersley doing a heck of a job over there at third base in this inning. He sent Morales with no hesitation. And Morales, he runs extremely well. He's always given a lot of hustle for being a first baseman and designated hitter. Look at that piece of hitting there. We talk about Salvi being a bad ball hitter. How about that booty knock?
Yeah, that's one of those pitches you make as a pitcher. You think you have an out. Sure enough, Salvador Perez has enough coverage to reach out and touch that one.
Yep.
Here is Omar Infante. He fouls it off. And fellas, I must admit, after Alex Gordon went down with the injury in left center field, it seemed like this team got hit in the jaw and knocked down, got a 10 count or an 8 count, got up, went back to their corner, and came out fighting.
Because I think if you look back at that play that Gerard Dyson made was such a huge play.
Right.
Such a huge play.
And we circled that in our scorebook saying, if the Royals come back and win this game, that's the play, the Dyson throw that may have spearheaded the victory. Check swing by Infante. He went. And the Royals are done in the 5th. But what a productive 5th inning against Chris Archer on his way to the All-Star game. Escobar, Kane, Hosmer, Morales, 7-3 KC. lead on the Rays, trying to take the first 3 games of this series. Vote for the Royals Player of the Month at rallyhouse.com, and you will be entered to win a majestic prize pack from Rally House. That guy might be one of the leaders in the clubhouse after his month of July, not only hitting almost 400, but he scored the 2 game-winning walk-off runs on Friday and Sunday. And he kind of sparked this one with a 2-run home run in the 3rd, and then the infield hit that tied the game in the 5th. So Jeremy Guthrie now has the lead. Hit high in the air, playable for Alex Rios in right, and DeJesus is out number 1. This July, extraordinary moments happen every night, but on one night they all happen in one place. Don't miss the 86th All-Star Game. Coverage begins at 6 o'clock Central next Tuesday, July 14th on Fox. And the Royals sending right now 6. Could be one more because Mike Moustakas, their 3rd baseman, was leading in the fan voting in the American League, but being chased by Brian Dozier and Yoenis Cespedes, I understand.
Got till Friday, folks. Come on, let's get one more Royal in.
Vote Moose. Monty, got to ask you about Jeremy Guthrie. Now he's got a 4-run lead, and he bounced back well with a solid 5th.
Yeah, when he got through that 4th inning, it could have been a lot more damage done. Only 2 runs allowed, but he has a 1, 2, 3. 5th inning, he gets a first out here in the 6th inning. He's 2 outs away from at least having a real solid outing here, having a quality start. But I think he's got to feel like a lot of people felt here on Monday night with that wind blowing. He's got a lot of wind in his sails right now based on the change in momentum.
There's the 2-1 to Brandon Guyer, and he fouls it back. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And the one thing I've always been impressed with Jeremy, even when he doesn't have his best stuff or command, he competes, and he knows with the team having a doubleheader yesterday, they need innings from their starter.
Yeah, it's very difficult to tell whether Jeremy Guthrie is spinning a real gem out on the hill or he's struggling, because he always has that same demeanor. I think that's a real attribute for him to have, and oftentimes it'll get you through some tough times because you don't want to allow the opposition to see you out there going through struggles. Keep that same composure and your poise, and you're going to have a lot better chance of being successful.
He's walked 4, 3 in the 1st inning. Grounded 3rd, Cuthbert. Nice play. Guns him out.
Wow. He likes to wait back for that extra large hop, and the reason he does is he's got a cannon. He throws from a short arm, and he shoots it across the diamond. He's not one of those long arm 3rd basemen, and that's good because it doesn't have time to fade on him. The ball stays straight by throwing from a short arm. But it's like a catcher. You throw right from behind your ear, and you get something straight on it. Yeah, short arm stroke. He looks good. Like I said, he belongs.
Have to put him and Moose up on the radar gun against each other.
Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting for a player like that when you come up and you know that the player you're replacing is away from the team. You saying, all right, he's going to go. I'm their guy. So he's comfortable right away. He knows he's not just in there for one fill-in start. He's got a few starts under him, and he's out there relaxed and playing his game. I mean, the key to that whole 5-run 5th inning was him scoring from 2nd base on an infield hit. Now the throw was off-balance throw, certainly from Forsythe, but an impressive skill packet that this young man is showing early.
Gotta love his instincts.
Yeah.
Kiermaier down in the count, 1-2. Now 2 balls and 2 strikes. He was robbed of a hit by Lorenzo Cain, who made a diving catch in the 2nd inning and then singled just in front of Cain in that 4th inning when the Rays scored a pair. Swung on and missed, and Guthrie goes 6. That's why he has that nickname, Jay Guts, pitching on it tonight.
Believe it.
Back at the K, where it feels like 1985 or perhaps 2014. A lot of talk about the All-Star game, and crew chief Tim Welke, he is in his 33rd year. 2 All-Star games, 8 division championships, 7 league championships, 4 World Series. Today, he was named the crew chief for the All-Star game. He said it's the first time that he has had home plate in the All-Star game, called it a terrific honor. Said he's going to bring his whole family. They can go to all the events and the parties. They live about 5 hours away in Kalamazoo. He said it's the same job as always, less pressure, less stakes than, say, the World Series. Although he said one challenge is that he keeps meticulous notes on that lineup card. He said some guys that have the plate do little abbreviations. He writes out every name, trying to figure out how he's going to fit them all on there. Good honor for one of the well-liked and good umpires in the game.
Here's a smash to the shortstop, and Asdrubal Cabrera will throw out Alex Rios. By the way, the 6th inning is our Sonic Slam inning. Our contestant is David Schrick from Kansas City, Missouri. If the Royals hit a home run in this inning, David will win $1,200. But if the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, David will win $25 grand from Sonic and the Royals. Well, Archer still out there. There's a look at that lineup. And you can see where Alex Gordon's name was crossed off. There's a ground ball short. Cuthbert will be out number 2. And if you've just joined at the reason, Alex Gordon was taken out. He was injured on a play in left center field and had to be taken off on a cart. But we found out later that it was a left groin strain. The Royals have taken him for an MRI to find out the severity of that injury, and we'll keep you up to date on Alex. My goodness, you could hear a pin drop on cotton. This entire stadium was silent when Gordo went down.
How about Don Wakamatsu's calligraphy? Yeah, lineup, all freehand. That's outstanding. Walk, you got skills.
He gives Joel a run for his money.
Joel has some of the worst handwriting I've ever seen, Monty. I can't believe you'd say that.
I was going to say, I haven't seen.
Escobar, who is 3 for 3 against Archer. Right now, Chris is taking him very seriously. We told you earlier there are only 2 players in Major League Baseball who have 3 hits in 1 game off Chris Archer this year. Both are named Escobar. Esky, will that be a 4th hit? Yes, it will. Alcides takes the lead over Yunel Escobar. 4 hits over 3.
Oh, talking about getting that batting average up. Esky hit. That one stung a little bit, but I'll tell you what, he'll take it. 4th hit off of Chris Archer. You're going good. Slider again, stayed up. He's having some command issues with that pitch. And Escobar hasn't missed him. I think Archer's just happy that it didn't hit him again. I mean, that's the 3rd hit that's all gone up the middle out of the 4. 2 of them hitting Archer.
That guy's got my number. I just can't get out the Escobars.
What have I got to do?
Hang with him.
Now Dyson with 2 out.
4 hits ties a career high for Escobar for the 6th time.
This could be Archer's final inning. He's thrown 95 pitches, and we told you coming off a season high 122 against the New York Yankees in just less than 7 innings. Dyson to left field. And it gets by the left fielder. Watch Gerard Dyson fly. Escobar scores easily. They're sending Dyson home. He will score on the inside the Parker.
Jesus, the left fielder, he was pursuing that ball in a big way. He believed he could make the catch, but you know, I know that he was thinking to himself, I've got to make this play. If I don't, it could be an inside the Parker, and that's exactly what happened.
Maybe the Royals should start the inning with 2 out, because it seems like they get all their hits with 2 out.
And you know what that does, and you continue to do that, it breaks the opponent's back. It breaks the pitcher's heart when he's just trying to get that 3rd out, and you just can't. And the Royals, the way they frenzy hit, the way they pass that baton on, you know, it's tough to contain them because they put the ball in play. They find holes.
As soon as the ball got by DeJesus, Jeff Montgomery, who's right next to him, twirled his finger in the air like he's going to go all the way. Touch them all.
Yep. June 25th of last year was the last home run Dyson hit.
And that was out of the ballpark. And you know what? Unfortunately, it has to be hit out of the ballpark, I think, for the 6th inning sonic slam.
I think that's just a grand slam.
Okay. Well, we will check on it, but David Schrick, don't buy everybody around yet. We've got to check on the rules. The 6th inning, of course, is our sonic slam inning, and our contestant was David Schrick from Kansas City. The home run is hit in this inning. David gets $1,200, and that's an inside the Parker, David.
Yeah, that'll work.
Line drive to right field. Brandon Guyer lost it in the lights. Kane to second base. Everything going the Royals' way.
Oh, man, I'm going to tell you, if you're Chris Archer, you're saying this is just not my day. Outfielders, you can't blame them. Infielders, they're all trying their hearts out for Chris Archer, but just not working. At least he'll be charged with an error, so Archer won't feel quite as bad, but the inning continues, and it's happened before.
9 runs, 11 hits for Kansas City. Hosmer swings and misses. Strike 1. Eric had a 2-out base hit, drove in a run, his 42nd of the year, and scored on Morales' double. The Royals with 5 in the 5th and 2 so far in the 6th.
You wonder if Ned Yost, manager for the All-Star teams, they haven't any second thoughts now about Archer. To be his starter.
I don't think Ned is going to go on 1 game, but Ned Yost certainly had to be impressed with Dallas Keuchel last week in Houston when he shut out the Royals in 8 innings. And I understand the official scorekeeper has changed that strike by Lorenzo Cain to right field to a double, saying Brandon Guyer could not make the play because he lost it in the lights. So Cain 3 for 4. And if you read the rule book, that would be correct, that if there is something in the way, and Hosmer will swing and miss. But Gerard Dyson with an inside the park home run, his first home run of the year.
That's what speed do.
Royals baseball is brought to you by Ford Go Further and by Academy Sports and Outdoors. The Rays and Royals, Kansas City with a 9-3 win over Tampa Bay. Jeremy Guthrie going in for the 7th inning, facing Rene Rivera, who lines one sharply to left field. Dyson hustles over, backhands, and Rivera's going to hold. He saw Dyson throw accurately home and catch a would-be runner. Again, our Sonic Slam winner, David Schrick from Kansas City, Missouri. You win $1,200, and it comes directly from Gerard Dyson. Not the money, but Dyson with that inside the park home run. David, it did not have to leave the yard, and there's a shot to center field by John Jaso. The Royals do have a left-hander, Franklin Morales, warming up down in the bullpen. Royals did make a move today. They sent Brandon Finnegan out to the minor leagues because he'll have time to recover after working extra innings, and then have the All-Star break, and Aaron Brooks staying with the team. So Ned will come out and take Guthrie out of the game and bring on Morales.
Jaso, man, is he hot. Great job, Jeremy Guthrie. Way to hang in there.
On top of the 7th inning, leading by 6. Our DraftKings players to watch tonight: Kendrys Morales 2 for 3 with a couple of RBIs. Clayton Kershaw, he'll go 147 strikeouts, and he's also one of the National League eligibles for the player vote. That will be done by 3 o'clock on Friday. Josh Donaldson will be a starting third baseman in the All-Star game. He's 2 for 3 with 2 more RBIs. And Scott Kazmir left tonight's game with triceps tendonitis, facing the Yankees. And Franklin Morales coming out of the bullpen for Kansas City, another part of this most impressive bullpen in baseball.
Let's see here, Franklin Morales. You look at the bottom line there, 13 inherited runners, only 1 has scored. If he's able to do this tonight, Jeremy Guthrie, if he can strand both of these runners, will be able to get another quality start.
And it would be his 3rd straight.
Yeah, you gotta like those numbers on Morales, both sides.
Escobar, second 1, first base 2. Well, Monty, that's a good start.
Better believe it. First man sure, second man quick. Escobar making sure he gets it over. Infante was quick, and Hosmer got those strings all attached well in that gamer glove of his. As we saw yesterday, the ball went through it. Kyle Turner, excellent athletic trainer for the Royals, but also wears many hats, and he's the glove doctor. Got that glove fixed and had it the next inning.
Scooped that with confidence.
He did. He picked and grinned.
I'll bet you he has saved 10 would-be errors this year.
I'm going to say more than that. I'm going to say 20, Fizz.
Well, all I'm saying is our infielders are usually very accurate, but when they have made a mistake, it's amazing how many times 35 has picked them up.
There's Kyle. Kyle, great job with the glove work.
Yeah, Haas only has 2 errors this year, and he only deserves one. The one the other day went right through his glove.
Right, Infante wants to be quick. Hosmer just makes that easy. See how he starts low to high, finishing high. Keep your glove down low and then come up on it. That way, if it doesn't come up,
well, that catch run will be charged to Jeremy Guthrie as Longoria singles to center field, scoring Rivera and making it a 9-4 game. And again, it's time for you to tweet your strongest fan photo. Use hashtag KCDataStrongFan, and you just might see yourself on an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile. We had a fan photo the other day with a young lady wearing a t-shirt that had Rex Hudler illustration on, a cartoon look of Rex Hudler, and all 3 of his expressions, like shock the house.
I hate to tell her, but I don't think that's going to win.
You never know. We have not checked with the Electoral College yet. James Loney has walked, singled to drive in a run. So Guthrie's evening is over. He allows 4 runs in 6+ innings. But in line to win his 7th game of the year. And there's a strike. And Guthrie has that great track record. When he pitches, the Royals usually win. He came over several years ago from the Colorado Rockies. Boy, he put together tremendous last 2 months of the season, and that was much the case because Hud, you and I have always marveled about Guthrie's work ethic, the way he prepares himself, his conditioning, his exercise always makes him strong for the second half, and he had a great second half last year. Ground ball second base. This should end it. Infante's throw in time. The Rays score 1. It's now a 5-run Royal lead at 9-4.
League. Minnesota wins. Detroit won better than Seattle. Cleveland doubles up Houston, and Toronto leading Chicago. Our Mazda game break takes us to Seattle, where Jeffrey Marte. They're looking for help in Detroit with Miguel Cabrera hurt, and he goes deep for his first. Tigers win it 5-4. Coming up after the game, Boulevard Royals Live. A lot to talk about. We'll hear from Ned Yost. Hope to get more of an update on Alex Gordon, and a crazy game here, including Gerard Dyson's first home run since last June. It was an inside the parker. David DeJesus had a couple of inside the park home runs as a Royal. Dyson does it here this evening. There was also the inside the park home run on Gordon's injury. Guys, I just checked with Stats Inc., and they tell me that the last Major League Baseball game to have two inside the park home runs in the same contest, May 26th, 1997, Cubs and Pirates, Sammy Sosa and Tony Womack.
Wow. Now, I would expect Tony Womack, but I would not have expected Sammy Sosa.
Those inside the parks, they come in a variety of ways. Sometimes when you got outfielders, they collide and no one can get to it. The right fielder or the left fielder. I mean, you guys got all day to get home.
Kendrys Morales, one of 3 Royals with multi-hit games. He has 2, a single and a double that hit a high off of the center field wall in the 5th inning, part of the Royals' 5-run 5th. Morales on pace for 108 RBIs.
Bellotti, good fastball, 90 to 94 miles an hour slider, and a changeup are his featured pitches.
Andrew Bellotti, a 6'1" right-hander out of San Diego, taking over for Chris Archer. It's a high fly ball, right center field. Kevin Kiermaier there for the catch, and 1 out. And it's time for our Yellowwood bringing the lumber. This was that marvelous 5th inning.
Cheslor Cuthbert, he keeps coming. Look at that. Save. Hosmer dumped one right in there to Kiermaier. Could not get it. Escobar scores. Morales played ping pong off the center field wall here at the K. Salvi with a little booty knock. He got it in there and kept that rally going. Morales bringing the mail home.
So Salvi up for his 4th time. Flied out, grounded to a double play, and singled to drive in a run, his 35th of the year. Big rip by Salvador, and now he's down in the count 0-2. Bellotti, I said, reinstated from the 15-day disabled list today because of right shoulder tendonitis, and unfortunately an old friend Everett Tieford had to be sent out. He was designated for assignment. In there, they call it a strike, and Salvi debates it, but he is out number 2. That will take us to Omar Infante, who was struck out 3 times tonight. Omar playing very well the last month, and he hits this one sharply, backhanded by Cabrera, who throws him out. Nice play, and that will do it for the Royals in the 7th. To the 8th we go. Royals 9, Rays 4. Time KC was down. Then they rallied for 5 in the 5th, 2 in the 6th to help out Jeremy Guthrie.
Yeah, a lot of credit to Jeremy Guthrie for battling out there through the first half of his outing. He's able to get a couple of outs in situations, runners on base, got some help from his defense. Nice to see that. And then he really kind of settled in the second half of his outing, much more positive, much better results. Great to see Jay Guts finish up the way he did.
Those were our sprint cuts of the game. 4 runs allowed in 6 innings of work. 3 of those walks came in the first inning when he threw nearly 30 pitches.
Right, you look there at his line score. He's got 4 runs, 4 earned runs. I wouldn't be surprised to see that maybe go 4 runs down to 3 earned runs. That one ball in the 3rd inning was a pass ball, so I'm not sure if that's going to be changed or not.
Morales stays in the game. He came on in the 7th inning, got a quick double play, then a base hit that scored a run, and then got James Loney on a ground out. So he'll face Forsythe, who hit the inside the park home run in the 4th when Alex Gordon was injured. And once again, we'll repeat for those of you who have just joined us, Alex went down in a heap in left center field chasing Forsythe's drive and suffered a left groin strain. The Royals taking him for an MRI to check out the severity of that injury. Outside 2-1. And Morales gets right back in the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Monty, while we have you up here, and we're blessed to have you, by the way, Morales, he's so quick coming out of his windup that hitters call that he's rushing me. He's rushing to the plate, and you know he starts off kind of slow, and then all of a sudden he gathers and quickly comes out of it right at you. It's hard to pick it up.
Yeah, and it's hard to really be effective doing that. It's hard to repeat that delivery. He does a really nice job on doing that.
Tell you, we continue to be impressed with number 19 Chester Cuthbert, who came in to cut down Forsythe, who runs well. And as you know, fans, Royals Charities and Fox Sports Kansas City have a broadcast auction during the Royals Blue Jays game this Friday. The Royals Charities broadcast auction gives viewers the opportunity to bid on unique ballpark experiences, one-of-kind items, or purchase an exclusive Royals ticket package. The auction begins at 6:30 during the Hy-Vee Royals Live pregame show on Friday and continues throughout the telecast. For more information, visit royals.com/broadcast auction. The batter will be Joey Butler for David DeJesus. Escobar. Another great pick by Eric Hosmer. That's what Esky always says. He goes, I don't even think when I throw it to Hos. He's so tall. He grabs my high throws, and when I throw it in the dirt, well, he just digs it out.
That's why he wears the gold. Routine. And Monty, he picked it with confidence.
He sure did.
Like he had done it a million times before. He talked often about his wonderful family and what they did for him. We had a chance to meet his dad again during the dad's trip in June. And Eric also talks about his brother Mike, who is his personal hitting instructor. Eric has a batting cage at his home in his backyard in Florida. Obviously works a lot on his defense too. Well, let's try it again. Right on the money. Bottom 8 we go. Royals by 5. play left field. And the Royals with a 9-4 lead. Here is our Chrysler drive of the game. Lorenzo Cain's 7th home run came in the 3rd.
Amazing how he's able to do that with that lean back. I mean, he really reaches back and bows that backside. It looks just tremendous as he's able to get fully extended to get a ball out of the K here at dead center field. Man, you got to really hit it.
And that was after 2 days off. Royals rested him Monday and Tuesday, and Cain comes back with a couple of hits and 3 RBIs. Alex Rios hits one high in the air. Butler back near the warning track to pull it down for out number 1. Joe Blanton warming up in the Royals bullpen. And fans, we want you to follow live Royals baseball with MLB.com @bat on your smartphone or tablet. Stay connected to the Royals all season wherever you are with the MLB.tv game of the day, in-game highlights, and more. And all you have to do is download MLB.com @bat, the #1 app for live baseball. Cheslor Cuthbert up. He has walked and scored. Young fan more interested in texting and watching the Royals surge towards their 49th victory of the year. Cuthbert with a flyout, a walk, and ground out. And Cheslor, down in the minor leagues, hit 45 home runs in his career. Royals signed him out of Nicaragua, the top player out of that country, in July 2nd of 2009. He went.
That's a good 2-seam run there by Bellotti.
Cuthbert was a Texas League All-Star at Northwest Arkansas last year, hitting .276 with 10 home runs. Rolled up the middle, backhanded by the second baseman, and that is into the Royals dugout. A base hit and an error. As soon as it left the hand of Forsythe, you knew it had a chance to reach the stands. Was a little short.
Yep, that's the ball there. And when you've had enough reps in Major League Baseball, you know, you just put that in your pocket. There's no way you're going to throw him out there, especially when you throw underneath the ball and you don't get on top. There's no chance. Even if you get on top, it's just too far away.
Well, the Rays have certainly not defended well in this game. An error there, a pass ball by Rivera. Also, Brandon Guyer forgot that Morales was at second base on a base hit to right field, did not make the throw home. And even though Guyer had the baseball when Morales was still at third base, Kendra scored easily when Brandon brought the throw to the cutoff man instead at second base. And here is Escobar. Pretty good night. He has upped his batting average full 10 points by going 4 for 4.
Yep, I knew that would happen. Just didn't know how high up it'd go, but that sure does help, man. Never had a 5-hit night. How about it?
Oh, rats. He does move Cuthbert to third with 2 out. And here comes Gerard Dyson, who gets a nice ovation because of his terrific throw back in the 4th inning, and then also his inside the park home run in the 6th inning.
You know, Gerard seems more hungry this season. Okay, his role has changed. He's not in games every night with a lead like he was last year, replacing Aoki in right field. Yeah, he was in all the time then, and so he kind of was, it was easy to keep his rhythm. But now that he's coming off the bench and getting spot starts, he's really making the most of it.
Blitz this one in the air. Kiermaier will take care of it. The Royals threaten but do not score. We head to the 9th inning. The Royals lead it 9-4. Partnered with the Players Trust to provide transportation to the local police athletic club to today's Royals game aboard the Fox Sports Fan Express as part of the Buses for Baseball program. This program will provide over 750 youth across the country with an unforgettable ballpark experience this season as the personal guests of the players. Taking in today's game are members of the local police athletic club, an organization that offers youth the opportunity to interact with police officers in a positive setting while participating in cultural, mentoring, and sports programs, with the main emphasis being placed on academics. The PAL program serves as a constructive alternative to antisocial behavior and boredom during developmental years and into adulthood. And I've always thought sports just a great opportunity to get your emotions out for a young human being. I mean, whether it's baseball, basketball, football, and the police and the fire departments do such great work in helping youngsters out in that area.
They do, and sure, it's the energy, but the other thing is it's time. It keeps you out of trouble. Eats up your time, gives you something to do.
Well, Blanton might be getting a side session in because he's scheduled to go on Saturday.
That's exactly what this is.
Getting in a little work on a Wednesday evening. A very good first pitch breaking ball comes back with the off speed to Kevin Kiermaier, who is 1 for 3. Royals have one more with the Rays tomorrow night, and that will be Yordano Ventura. Very interested to see that. That's tomorrow afternoon in a 1 o'clock affair, and Nathan Carnes is going for the Rays. And then the Blue Jays come to town with their heavy hitting offense. Marco Estrada going on Friday against Danny Duffy, and then Burley and Blanton on Saturday night.
Blanton sinks his fastball 88-93. As that little slider you just saw there, and a changeup, it'll go down and away.
Blanton with a fastball at 90 on the outside corner. That's strike 3 called. Kiermaier will debate it.
Well, they train the pitchers to put that ball on the outside part of the plate. And there it is to the lefty. Now Salvi, he made that look good, but that ball looked like it was a little off the grid.
Here's that matchup tomorrow afternoon, 12:30 with the Hy-Vee pregame show with Joel and Monty. Nathan Carnes going for the Rays and Yordano Ventura going for Kansas City. Ventura very good numbers in his last outing. His command wasn't as strong as he would like to see. Two balls and no strikes to Rene Rivera, who is 2 for 3. Run scored and an RBI. A drive to right center field and deep.
Wow.
And that ball is gone.
Man, what a inside out power stroke that was. Over the 387 sign opposite field from a right-handed batter. We don't see many of those. Two-seamer right down the middle. Look at this guy. He's very strong with his lower half. Good balance and a nice inside out swing, and he got up underneath it, and that ball wasn't coming back.
Here's Jaso with his third hit of the night, and all he's done since coming off the disabled list is go 6 for 8. Dave Island with a slow walk out to the mound. One of the reasons is he wants to visit with Blanton, but he also wants to allow Greg Holland to have some time to warm up down in the Royals bullpen. Royals 5-run lead entering the 9th inning has now been carved to 4. And now you're working in the dangerous part of the lineup with the veterans Cabrera, Longoria, and Loney. Fans, another opportunity to let you know to vote for the Royals third baseman Mike Moustakas. Vote Moose. And fans, the Royals have formed an alliance with cross-state rival the Cardinals to urge both fans to vote for Royals third baseman Mike Moustakas and Cardinals pitcher Carlos Martinez for the All-Star game in Cincinnati. You can cast your selections at Royals.com/vote. or on your mobile device by texting A5 for Moustakas or N4 for Martinez to 89269 until voting ends at 3 o'clock on Friday. Do both Missouri teams proud and vote Mo today. Cabrera is 0 for 4. Center field deep, came back. And that one is off the wall. Jaso will be held at third base. Blanton laboring here in the 9th inning. Well, I'm sure Ned didn't want to go to Greg Holland after he had a 5-run lead in the 9th. Holland did work yesterday in game 1 of that split doubleheader, but he is going to bring on Greg now after Blanton gave up 3 hits to the 4 batters that he faced.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for Blanton. This is a little bit too much in the middle of the plate.
Joe Blanton with a rough ninth inning gave up 3 hits to the 4 batters that he faced. And now he'll watch Greg Holland try and close it out. Royals with a 4-run lead. Longoria, dangerous batter. Having 1 for 4 tonight. That was an RBI single his last time up. And against Greg Holland, he is just 1 for 6. Runners second and third. On the hands at 95 miles an hour, and that's always encouraging when you see Greg throw back-to-back games and still hitting the mid-90s.
Yeah, but he doesn't necessarily need that 95. He's excellent 90, 92, 93 because he's got good mound presence. He understands what his role is all about. He's got experience,
and he has that slider.
Yeah, but that fastball at 95 certainly helps.
He comes back with the fastball at 95 that runs in. Salvi had set the target low and away. There's the slider blocked by Salvi. And that kind of got his right hand as well.
Sometimes that thumb gets in the way. He puts those hands out there to try to block it. He shifts it, and you can't control where that ball is going to go. Hit him off his thumb.
Home plate umpire Todd Tichenor giving Salvador as much time as he needs to recover from that. Royals were hoping to have a rather comfortable top of the 9th inning. The Rays really struggling. I mean, their last 16, 17 games, including this one, they're only averaging 3 runs per game, but they've put 5 on the board against Kansas City and threatening for more here in the top of the 9th. Another slider that's dropped to right field. That's a base hit. Both runs will score to make it 9-7.
Longoria knowing that's all he had to do. Anything out over the middle, he's looking with 2 strikes is to put that ball in play, and a nice inside out swing. That's a hitter knowing that that pitch is coming on the outer half and not missing it.
Now the tying run comes to the plate in James Loney with Longoria at first base. This inning started rather innocently when Joe Blanton struck out Kevin Kiermaier, but the next 4 Rays reached on hits. Loney with a chopper to first. Hosmer. Oh, they called it a foul ball.
Yeah, he hit it off his foot.
I see. Okay. Yeah, I just noticed that the first base umpire immediately called it a foul ball. Hosmer was getting ready to throw to second base. Yeah, it hit off the shin.
Boy, that's too bad. That would have ended it.
Well, Ned wants to take a look, but it sure did look like it hit off the front leg.
Yeah, let's take a look at that right leg. See if it hits it off the shin right above the shoe top.
Yeah, it sure did look like the ball changed direction.
That's a pretty good acting job. He sold it. If it didn't.
Loney cracks it to right, past Infante. Marte into right field. So 5 straight hits by the Rays after Blanton got the first out.
The Rays are finishing strong, trying to do all they can to try to string something together to get back in this game. This is a team you mentioned, Fizz, been struggling a lot. So if there is one positive to come out of this game for Kevin Cash's club, is they're not giving in.
The Rays have been rather streaky this year. From May 30th until June 20th, they were 16-5 with an ERA right around 3 and averaging 4 runs per game. But since that time, 3-13 with an ERA over 4 and averaging only 3 runs per game offensively.
They're going to pinch run for Loney.
And that's Jake Elmore, who is a reserve middle infielder.
Got to get that speed out there in case of a gapper.
And Grady Sizemore is on deck for Joey Butler. Ball 1. In the air, right center field. Rios has it, and everybody has to hold. So Holland finally gets that second out. The crowd on their feet at Kauffman Stadium as the Royals try to go 16 games over 500 at 49-33. Trying to hold their 4.5 game lead over Minnesota, who won earlier today. 5-3 over Baltimore, and Detroit bested Seattle 5-4. Grady Sizemore up. Strike 1. Started him off with the slider.
Royals looking to take this series 4-gamer.
They appeal. He did not go, and it's a 1-1 count. Sizemore hasn't seen a fastball yet.
Looked like he checked his swing. That little girl got woken up by this crowd. The energy is here.
That time he did go.
I agree.
And Greg barely missed away with the fastball. 2 on, 2 out.
Holland doing a nice job of keeping that ball out of the middle and away. Working it away.
That one bounces. Both runners advance. Now a single could tie the game.
Fourth wild pitch for Holland. It was a slider, and it bounced well in front of home plate, and that's all Salvi could do. He tried to keep it right in front there, but you know, you just can't control all those hops, especially when they have overspin on them. They take off when they hit the ground.
Longoria at third, Loney at, Elmore at second. Pulls it foul. Nine runs, 13 hits for Kansas City, 7 runs, 14 hits for the Rays. Kane with a big game. Holland closes it out. Escobar 4 hits. And the Royals 16 games over 500 at 49 and 33. A little dicey in the ninth though, Hug.
Sure was. Greg Holland, he's able to come in after the wild pitch, move the scoring run or the tying run in scoring position. And he's able to get it done with a nice pitch on the outer half of the plate. And I'm going to tell you though, the Rays made him work, but they win the series. A nice job of frenzy-style hitting, and I'll tell you, Gerard Dyson in that 4th inning really picked up Jeremy Guthrie with that double play, catch and throw him out at home. That turned it.
Yeah, we said at that time that if the Royals come back and win this game because they were currently trailing, that this may be the play of the game, the turning point.
Yes, and Dyson, he may not be the biggest player physically, but he's got a heck of an arm, man, and he loaded up. His technique was perfect. Guthrie tips the cap, and from then on, here it comes. The runs started pouring in off the best American League pitchers so far this year on the road. The Jesus, he thought he could catch it, but when he didn't, it's over. That speed got Dyson around those bases with no trouble at all.
Let's go to Joel.
Thank you very much. Joined right now by Gerard Dyson, who had an incredible game at the plate and in the field. But first off, I want to ask you about Alex. He is the leader of this team. You could feel it in this whole stadium when he went down. How emotionally difficult was that for all of you?
You know, it's going to be hard with us because he means so much to the team. And he go out there every day and give it his all. And we're going to really miss him.
Want to talk to you about the big play. And here, just take this from Salvi. He didn't feel like lifting any buckets tonight. He just took some cups for both you and Chesler. It just felt flat in here after that. Alex is so important to this organization, to this city. And then you come out there with that double play. Just talk about that and the life that it injected in the crowd and maybe the dugout too.
Well, first of all, it's hard to fill his big shoes. So I just try to do my best right there and make plays and do whatever I can do to help the team win.
And take us through that play.
You know, I got behind the ball, and he tagged up and went on me, and I was able to make a good throw. And Salvi was able to make a good tag on him.
This is the first Major League game since 1997 that there have been 2 inside the park home runs. You had the second one. At what point did you know it was going to be a 4-bagger, your first homer of the year?
Well, when I seen him miss it, man, I just kept going and kicked in another gear. But for my first career inside the Parker, it couldn't have came at a better place than Kauffman Stadium.
Any final words for these fans?
We just love to support everybody to come out and give us and continue to bless us.
Gerard Dyson with a big pick-me-up game for the Royals, for Alex Gordon, and a very appreciative crowd as he tips the cap. More coming up, guys, on Boulevard Royals Live.
Joel, thank you very much. And the Royals really opening things up offensively against a team that had the second lowest ERA coming into this. But the Royals with 25 runs in the first 3 games of this series, all victories after scoring only 15 runs the previous 7. Dyson with the inside the Parker, and then lays at the plate, smiling at his teammates in that dugout.